Before you ask, there's no such thing as political hypocrisy. COP26 is a necessary climate change ceremony. And wouldn't you be disgusted to find out that anybody who claims to care about climate was literally presiding over the wedding of an oil baron's family member while claiming to care about climate change? Luckily, no one was doing that. Surely by now there's 4.5 million of us all communicating honestly and plainly together. If you don't like this video, you can just hold that feeling inside of your own mind and just let go of it. Nancy Pelosi and California Governor Gavin Newsom have both come under fire for attending the wedding of a Getty heiress days before COP26 in Glasgow came to a close. What this really is the story of two ceremonies. One is a ceremony that has meaning and is connected to power, and the other one is COP26. Yes! The Democratic Speaker of the House officiated at the wedding of Ivy Getty, the great-granddaughter of oil tycoon J. Paul Getty. Mr. Newsom, meanwhile, was attending. I'm just attending. You don't have a job to do, Newsom. Stand well back. Put your mask on. I'm English. I don't even really know that much about the intricacies or even the broad strokes of American politics. I'm coming at you from an emotional perspective. What feels right? What seems right? Does it seem authentic? Does it seem like there's integrity? Probably, if you know the Getty family, I bet they're nice people and donate loads of money to good foundations and stuff like that. It's not a criticism of the Getty family. This is about the optics and the reality of that event. This is a time where working class and ordinary people, lower middle class, all ordinary people are suffering economically. This is also the time where there's this great big conference on COP26 that we're all supposed to care about because of, well, climate change and the problems associated with ecological disaster. Now, I know that some of you lot will say, oh, climate change ain't real and it's not affected by human activity. My personal opinion is the Earth should be loved and revered and prioritised as something we have a sacred, deep connection to, and we should not relegate in order to pursue economic interests. Furthermore, though, I think a lot of posturing goes on around climate change in order to set up governmental agencies that are beyond national interest, centralised global bodies that will ultimately end up telling us all what to do. That's something I'm a little bit concerned about. So that's the complexity of my position. I think we should be doing everything we can to love and honour the natural world. I say this as a spiritual and religious person. Like, if you love God, you love the earth, no? But I also think that there's something fishy going on. The ceremony was held at City Hall in San Francisco, and pictures from Vogue. Oh, cool. This is the wedding for everybody. Come on, Vogue, have a fancy wedding while the earth burns. The pictures from Vogue suggested it was an opulent affair. Look, this was just a low-key, humble little wedding featuring designer dresses for bridesmaids and decorations with gold lace. Because I've had fancy weddings, but the fact is, one, I'm not a politician. Two, I wouldn't do it now. Mostly because I'm married. But if I was like a really prominent politician, I'd be constantly thinking, right, is everything going well in the world? Does anyone think that I'm corrupt because of stock trading stuff I'm sure is within the law but shouldn't be? Will you come and preside over the Getty wedding? Why am I saying yes to this? I've said yes. Oh no, I'm actually there. Now I'm smothered in gold lace. Pelosi officiating at an oil baron's billionaire granddaughter excess wedding during a pandemic that economically devastated the working class is peak why Democrats will lose the next 4 election cycles, argued one Twitter user. Now remember, if you're coming at this from the right, if your outrage is about billionaire oil barons, then I guess you should think, how are your party around billionaire oil barons? You know, because if that's what you object to, then we object to it no matter who's governing, right? That's me. That's what I can say, hand on heart. I won't put my hand on my heart. It's too near the microphone. We have sound issues. But just metaphorically now, the hand is on the heart. I wear it on my sleeve. There, hand on heart. I can say, if you've got real values and real principles, you don't need to worry because you won't be changing it. Like, oh, who was it that did it? Was it who officiated at the wedding? Was it a Republican or a Democrat? It was a Democrat. Oh, well, you know, people are going to have friends. It's okay. It was a Republican. I hate those guys. If you've got principles and values, all of that stuff just passes by because you're connected to something timeless and universal. The Getty family are estimated to be worth around $5.4 billion, according to Forbes, most of which is down to oil trading in the 60s and 70s. Hey, we earned our money the old-fashioned way, with good, honest-to-God oil trading. Oil drilling will need to dramatically reduce if the United States is to meet its obligations on reducing fossil fuels, which were set out ahead of COP26 and obliged to meet under the 2015 Paris Agreement to keep global temperatures at 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. I wonder if Nancy Pelosi had that on her mind while she was officiating the wedding. And do you promise to love, honour and obey? I do. And do you promise to keep global temperatures at 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial levels? I do. This is the most beautiful wedding of my life. It's so pure. At least 28 US senators own investments in the fossil fuel industry worth as much as a combined $12.6 million, according to Sludgy's analysis of financial disclosures. Well, firstly, that does make you think that if 28 senators have got interest in the oil industry, that might, based on what we know about other things, affect the way that they vote and pitch on the subject of oil industry. Secondly, Sludge? Who's letting Sludge analyse things? We need to understand what's going on in the oil industry. Get Sludge. Hello? What's happening? Well, there's 28 senators who are investing in oil. Thank you, Sludge. It's always an honour to deal with you. Thank you. The sponsors of COP26 are behind the corporate greenwashing agenda, says Robbie Kirk in Jacobin. Beyond the sound bites, a more realistic understanding of the conference can be found by taking a deeper look into the principal partners that the conference's website so proudly presents. If you're having a proper conference and the intention of that conference isn't greenwashing, but is to like, right, we've got to do something. We've got to do something about climate change. Get everyone together. Right, we've got to fund it properly because we need biscuits and that and we have time. Like, we need snacks. Yeah. So should we get some money? Yes, but I will clarify. Anyone we get money from, they can't have anything to gain from climate change, and the practices that we suspect lead to it not being affected. For example, don't have Unilever, one of the world's largest polluters, which produces enough plastic to cover 11 football pitches per day, which is pointless. IKEA, which produces more emissions when shipping its cargo around the world than even Amazon. I just think of the meatballs, and I'm vegan. Scottish gas giant SSE and Scottish Power. In October last year, SSE was named as Scotland's second biggest polluter. We will not accept money from Scotland's biggest polluter. Dring, dring. Second biggest? Yeah, we'll take your money. Microsoft. Now, that's a good company, well run by a lovely bunch of guys. Microsoft is famous for its questionable work practices, including the alleged use of child labour. In environmental terms, the company makes the bold statement of intent to be carbon neutral by 2025, but its collaboration with major extractors throws the usefulness of this label into doubt. Yeah, they'll always find a way around it, innit? That's the way, have you noticed, this is how power operates. We're going to be carbon neutral. But our little subsidiaries, carbonusers.com, well, we can't take responsibility for those guys. Another example is Sky, which claims to be headed towards carbon neutrality. Sky's partnership with Qatar Airways paints a different picture of the media group's commitment to zero emissions. I mean, it's all well and good being committed to zero emissions, but Qatar Airline, they're not going to run an airline. That's the problem, isn't it, with something like COP26? We all know that to meaningfully affect the way that the planet is affected by industry will affect the profits of industry. That's part of the reason that I'm very pro-responsibility around the environment, because the only reason we're irresponsible is not because of me. I'm not going outside and go, "Hey, environment." I mean, I've got a car, I've got a house, I use plastic, do you know what I mean? But it's not individuals that are responsible. The owners on individuals. Are you doing your recycling? Yeah, I'm recycling. I put everything in its proper little place. Well, check out Unilever. They don't give a shit. These conferences are about greenwashing. They're a performance. They're a parade. The reason that Pelosi being at that wedding is relevant is because it shows the concurrent reality alongside the theatre of COP26. If it did anything, they wouldn't be able to do it. Unilever, okay, look, we really want to, create a better environment and we're willing to be partners. And all these people, what they know is, oh shit, we're going to have to say something or do something. Is there a meaningless gesture we could do? Oh yeah, we're having a whole conference of meaningless gestures. Well, here's a few quid for that. Just make sure it stays meaningless. GlaxoSmithKline, which was founded in 2019 to be one of the highest polluting companies in the world, another sponsor. Same with the Olympics, isn't it? Look who sponsors the Olympics. Like food companies and drink companies that make you unhealthy and sick to promote a contest about physical and athletic supremacy and ability. The finest, the best trained people in both the Paralympics and the Olympics. Who sponsors it? McDonald's, Coke, needlessly biting into lumps of fat, smoke fags, poke yourself in the eye, chopyourfootoff.com are our new sponsors. That's not going to help, is it? Yeah, that's the point. You only need to sponsor it because it's at odds with the ethics that you're espousing. Sainsbury's, Greenpeace named Sainsbury's as the worst supermarket for reducing plastic waste. Reckitt and its reliance on Wilmar International for palm oil resources. Wilmar has been criticised not only for the deforestation commonly associated with palm oil production, but also implicated in alleged human rights abuses, including the use of labour, according to Amnesty International. These corporate giants have already done serious environmental damage, and the evidence gives strong indication that their latest commitments are not to be trusted. No! Private companies do not exist to serve the needs of the people. What? The single goal is profit, and the imperative for profit will reliably outweigh any of their green concerns. For many, sponsoring COP26 serves that goal by acting as an opportunity to greenwash their own responsibility. Although greenwashing in real life would be disgusting, wouldn't it? Because what would that green be? Slime, snot, hello, over at Sludge, keeping a close eye on what's happening. It was English that time, I suppose they've got branches everywhere. Anyway, it's clear to me that whether you're talking about officiating at a wedding for people whose wealth came from polluting industries, or a whole conference sponsored by people that contribute to pollution, that whatever you think about climate change, whatever you think about the way that climate change is utilised to create bodies of power outside of national governments, you have to agree that we're participating in a kind of theatre. And until we're willing to enter into reality, like this is reality, here we are, what are we going to do? Are we willing to let go of artificial imaginary systems of governance and commerce, capitalism and exchange in order to focus on reality? If you're not, and some people ain't, many people ain't ready to face reality. Most people, red pill, blue pill, we all know that. But if you're ready to face reality, part of that is to acknowledge that you can no longer get excited about theatre and nonsense. But that's just what I think. Who cares what I think, really? I'm just another person in a shirt with a crow on it. Let me know in the comments below what you think. If you like it, give us a thumbs up. It's your only option, baby. It's not going to be thumbs down. Get out of the habit of that. And subscribe to my channel. Stay in touch with me. If you enjoyed this video, have a look at... No, stop it. And if you want to learn about meditation and spirituality, check out my Awakening side channel. I'm doing live shows in the north, south, east and west of England from January to May next year. Come see me do those shows and sign up to my mailing list for details and click on the link if you want to come see my shows. Stay free.